This is Jason Morrow, and you're watching NYJFTV.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of NYJFTV. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Sirkin, joined on the panel by the always fiery Fireman Ed and former Jets WR Rob Carpenter. All right, we got a lot to discuss tonight. Jets-Giants coming up Saturday night. We're going to preview that game. We also have some behind-the-scenes footage at MetLife Stadium for some cool things that the Jets are going to be rolling out for 2016. But right now, we got to focus on everybody's favorite topic, and that's the backup quarterbacks. So, Ed, I got to start with you on this one because you said it week 1, and then you said it again last week that if Bryce Petty was to step up, he was going to take that job away from Geno Smith. Do you think he's done enough so far?
Do I think he's done enough? No, I don't. I think he's playing well. I think he's obviously playing a lot better than he did last year. I mean, you could see the composure in him. He looks like an NFL quarterback at this point. I think more than anything, I think the Jets are they'd like Rob, we were talking before. I think they'd like to see him take it. I don't think he's quite there yet. And I think that Geno is getting that nod tomorrow because if he wets the bed, I think they're going to be a little upset about what's going on. So I don't know what's going to happen there, honestly. I don't know what's going to happen with Petty and Geno. I personally want to see Petty take the spot, but ultimately I don't think he's ready quite yet. Looking at the tea leaves between the Jets, trying to read into what's going on. That's my opinion. So.
Rob?
I just think Bryce was showcased last week to see if he actually could handle the situation. He played a lot, and they put him in situations where he actually had to make plays, and he did, for the most part, make the plays that he needed to make. And I think that said to the Jets that he's on his way. He's not quite there yet, but if they really needed to put him into a pressure spot, they probably could. If he plays well again this week, let me say that they probably could lean on him if Geno sputters. But with Geno getting a nod back as the backup guy, they're looking for him to do the same thing that Petty did last week. So.
I think so. And, we're in the 4th season of Geno Smith now. At a certain point, you have to start seeing him make some of those corrections with some of the boneheaded mistakes. Yeah. I mean, forget the interception. All right, I'm talking about the intentional grounding where he doesn't even get the ball 5 yards to the line of scrimmage.
His footwork, man.
These are some of the things that at this point in his career we shouldn't be seeing anymore. So I still think Geno's going to be here opening day. I think we're going to be carrying 4 quarterbacks. But I definitely think Bryce Petty's going to make it pretty interesting the next 2 weeks.
If he actually does play well, this weekend, he is going to make it interesting.
Yep.
Because, again, once they see if he's doing everything right on film, it makes it easier for the Jets to make this decision. It's going to be harder for them to make the decision if Geno does what he's supposed to do and Bryce does what he's supposed to do. So,
what do you think of his footwork? I mean,
it's not always great, honestly. Sometimes he gets jittery. Yeah, he gets jittery, and it's like he fall back on some bad habits.
It makes me nuts. I mean, I look at it. I can understand certain things, but at this point, and he's played so many games in the NFL to still be thrown off of a back foot and being, squared to the line of scrimmage is like unheard of.
Sometimes I think it has to do with
really get nutty in that film room. Going, what are you doing?
Yeah, sometimes I think it has to do with the fact that. He doesn't actually look like he is ready for every situation. So if something pops up to him really, really, really quick, he'll fall back into a bad habit and just might throw off his back foot or
That's why I'm down on Geno.
Start running out of the pocket, and then all craziness breaks loose.
I agree. It's so hard to evaluate too because you got Bryce Petty going up against guys third string, fourth string, and Gino only had a couple series in there. But I think these next 2 weeks are going to be very telling, not just in the games but throughout camp as well.
This week is going to be big because this is the week that is really a tune-up week for most of the number ones.
Yep.
So probably in the second half, you're not going to see not many of the number ones. And next week, in the fourth preseason game, you're going to see the guys that actually they are really, really evaluating on the field a lot. So you'll probably see Bryce on the field next week most of the time. You'll see Gino on the field. And
maybe we'll even get some reps for Hackenberg. Yeah, there you go.
See Hack next week.
Yep.
So, but this week is the real tune-up. This week becomes, game plan situations. The starters are actually in the film sessions, looking over everything that they need to go over. Extra film study. It's not training camp anymore. Now it's actually going into the season.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, the tune-up that we're talking about for the Giants, I personally have a lot that I still want to see from the starters, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You look at the Jaguar game, they marched right down the field, 12 plays, touchdown on the next drive. They come back against the Redskins, 16-play drive. It just looks like we're starting slow. We're still not tackling. We're not taking the proper angles. Nobody has stepped up for that number 2 corner spot yet. What are you seeing from this defense right now?
Just what you just said. I think they were a little vanilla first 2 games. I think this week they'll probably put in a lot more stuff that you'll see during the season. And Todd actually wants to see a lot of the guys make the plays that they're supposed to be making. He wants to put them in positions where they're actually going to be making these plays and for them to make the plays. So if a guy's in position to make the tackle, make the tackle. If the guy's actually supposed to be doing stunts and it's there, make a sack, make the sack. One guy who I see doing that very well is Leonard Williams. You see the stunts that he makes, and he blows things up. He gets a sack, and you could see they might call that one particular play, in the first 2 preseason games, the times he's gotten the sacks, they called the stunts. It worked to perfection. He made the play. That's what actually Todd Bowles and the rest of the defensive coaches are looking for. And as far as the number 2 corner, you're correct. It's a toss-up right now.
Yep.
But from what I'm understanding, Buster Screen has actually stepped up above the rest of the guys. So they're probably going to be looking to him to be the number 2 guy right now. And it's, again, for the rest of the guys, it's going to be a toss-up. And this game right here is going to be big because they know that from the other side of the ball, the Giants are actually going to be putting in a lot of stuff that they want to be running during the season. So, you have Cruz who's going to be playing. OBJ is actually going to be out there.
That's
the
going
kid
to be a fun
Shepard is
matchup.
going.
That's going to be a
the
fun
kid
matchup.
Shepard is really good. So it's going to be matchups that they want to see with the DBs going against the Giants receivers. So it should be fun to watch.
Yep.
David Harris said just a couple of days ago when he interviewed him, he made it very clear. He says, first 2 games, he says we were vanilla.
Yeah.
He says we didn't do any film study.
Right.
He says, guys are just trying to be in their position. Obviously they're not. Because they're getting drove on both games.
We spoke about this. I spoke to you about this. First 2 games, they usually are vanilla. And this
they're
game,
vanilla.
You're going to see a lot of game plan stuff.
Well, listen, David Harris is beast mode. That's our beast mode. I love him. I'm expecting them to play well Saturday night. You got a very formidable Giant team that you're going to go up against. I want to see us dominate that offensive line because I think that's the weakness of the Giants. So we're going to find out. The cornerback position, obviously people are down on, at least I am. I'm down on D. Milner. I'm rooting for this kid. I'm rooting like hell for him. It's a number 1 pick. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. He's the answer to all the questions. If he could ever just stay healthy and, he could be the difference. It would be nice to see, Revis, Screen, Williams, and D.
And how about even Justin Burris is stepping up a little bit? He might even throw his name into that mix too.
But that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
When they were saying they were mixing that. They were mentioning about Justin Burris this week. You were hearing a lot of little things about him and how he's stepping up. And I think Casey Rogers mentioned Burris in one of his interviews this week, saying he likes his potential and what's going on there.
I was at practice a few days ago. Yeah, he was getting some reps opposite Revis in practice. So
that's huge, and he's big and lanky, and the Jets like that, So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see, But once again, I hate the game. I hate when we play the Giants. It doesn't mean anything. It aggravates me every time I watch the game. And what I do is I cross my fingers. that they just come out of there healthy, because it doesn't mean anything, the Snoopy Bowl or a bunch of crock. So, I just want to see them, come out of it. And like Rob says, we were talking about it. The guys don't really get into it like the fans like myself do. I'm more amped up for it. And, but at the same token, I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. So we'll see.
And the other guy I want to talk about on defense, because I just have a funny feeling that he's in for a breakout season, because everybody's talking about how he's not a number one corner anymore, that he's got to start, getting ready for that transition to safety.
I know where you're going.
Darrelle Revis.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to get too crazy just because he made one interception, but, just knowing the kind of competitor that he is, the kind of pride that he has in his game, I just feel like he is primed for a huge season, and he's ready to shut people up this year.
Can't wait.
And I think the way he looks, to start the preseason, he's healthy. You can see he's actually being a pro out there in the field. The defenses might have been vanilla as far as the game planning goes, but he's not vanilla in what he does in his preparation. He's been around the game for a long time, so it's funny when you see him make a read, and that they didn't even game plan. He just went off of his knowledge of the game itself to make that interception in the game against Washington. He fell off the guy that he was actually covering to go pick the ball off. Busted screen was actually beat.
Yep.
If you watch the play, if Revis didn't make that play, that might have been a touchdown. So Revis actually saved the day on that. But that's the kind of guy that he is. He's a strict professional when it comes to playing a game. He does what he actually has to do week in, week out. That's the guy that you actually can point out there and like, look, we can go out and play, and we know we can count on him.
I think he's got a huge chip on his shoulder. I mean, you have guys like Manish Mehta that wrote last year. You think he doesn't have that in his where he's got all the clips of them talking about what he, DeAndre Hopkins down in Texas beating him, and Sammy Watkins beating him, and we're gonna find out. You'll find out a lot about Darrelle. I don't have any doubt that he's going to have a monster year. I want to see just stay healthy, and I see he'll be the difference in the defense. I believe.
16 games.
Was that from 7?
2 games where he was actually beat. 16 games, 2 games.
And people forget that last game, he was playing with the injured wrist. He couldn't even jam.
Yeah,
Sammy
we don't
Watkins
even know that.
He played a
we
while.
don't know that till afterwards.
Yeah.
That's the
he
thing.
played a while with that
privy
wrist
to all
like
of
that,
that.
and he never complained. And still, he still for the entire season was the number one corner as far as yards per catch given up.
Yep.
So he didn't fall off too far. He's not the Revis that we all were used to, but he's not the guy that you actually can say or going to say, yeah, he's falling off that far where he needs to go to safety. No, he's not even close.
People are still expecting the Revis Island of 2009, where it's unrealistic
he's still
at
a
this
top
point,
corner
but
in
he's
the
still a
league.
number one corner in this league.
He's just not the Darrelle Revis that was, year 2, 3, 4. He's
you,
not that guy, but he's still one of the top
Best of
corners
the
in the
best.
league.
Yep.
Top 3 corner in the league, and that's what you want.
If these 4 guys in the front do what they're supposed to do, the D-backs in the back are going to have a
field day.
It could be history making for the defensive backs and for the Jets. The guy I want to see step up, by the way, while we're talking, is Calvin Pryor. All right, I haven't heard anything from him. All right, I haven't heard anything from him. All right, so we're expecting big things. Calvin, we had a talk. Calvin, you got to step up now. It's time. September 11th, the big boy pants go on. Come on, Calvin.
There we go.
Big year.
Awesome. Now, switching over to the offense, and again, like we said, it's preseason. You don't want to go too crazy about what we see. But, I know they're not really scheming and game planning and showing too much. But, Fitz in the offense really looked out of sync there. You got the tight ends dropping balls left and right. You got the 2 fumbles. Nobody has stepped up at tight end yet. You can make an argument right now that Brandon Bostic might end up being your number 1 tight end, or you're just going to pick somebody up off the waiver wire. They went with Cavalli at right tackle this game after Ijalana started the first game, and with Giacomini not looking like he's coming back anytime soon. That could be an interesting battle to watch. But all in all, I wasn't too impressed with what the offense showed.
Well, that tight end hole is getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to be tough. If those guys don't actually start making plays, it's going to be tough for that position to actually stay on the field. There's going to be times where tight end has to be on the field, but it's going to be so predictable to the point where if defenses know that tight end is actually on the field, the ball is going to be going in a certain direction.
Yep.
It's not coming towards those guys. But the one, caveat that we actually have about all of that is Quincy. If he, and I'm not calling him a tight end, he's the guy that actually can fill that role, though, in the passing game. Yep. He can step into that spot and take over those passing routes that the tight ends were running. And Quincy has a great advantage against linebackers and strong safeties. He's a receiver running against linebackers and strong safeties. And, he showed from the first game that him and Fitz actually were clicking.
Yep.
They're real comfortable with each other, and I think Fitz is really comfortable with him. But the O-line, yeah, we are going to have to hope and pray right now that Jock actually gets back as fast as he can, because we might need that, and we're going to need that. But to fill the hole, these next 2 weeks are going to be big as far as the guys actually filling his.
I'm calling you out. Jason Morrow, second-round pick, breaking all kinds of records in Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, Lubbock, Texas. Met your mom, met your grandmother, met your sister in England, okay? It's time. It's time, all right? Enough. You kicking the water bottle yesterday. I don't know what you're doing, all right? Catch the ball. We need you. You're a big part of this team. You were a second-round pick. You and D. Milner. If the two of you step up, we can have a monster year. Jace, come on. Red Raider. Let's go.
And he's been so frustrating to watch because, not just a second-round pick, but, I mean, in practice, it looks like he's flashing. I've been out there a couple times. He's making plays. He lost some weight this year.
Practice.
He looks faster. His hands look better in practice. But like you said, it's practice. And then once the lights go on, he's dropping balls, and he even looks tentative as a blocker. I don't know. There's something missing there.
I think once something actually goes bad in a game, it looks like it's definitely mental with him now. Yep. You could tell from the first drop he had against Washington. It looked like it just threw him off totally. For the rest of the game, and he just looked so out of sync after that. And that's something that's going to be hard for him to overcome if it actually continues. He's going to need to catch 10, 12 passes in a row at one point in time to get his confidence
He needs
back.
that confidence.
And then,
you
if
just
he
wonder,
actually ever
is he
gets to the point
soft?
where
That word soft, you hear that in the
I don't
ball
really
players,
wanna,
they don't like to say the word soft.
I don't really want to put that on him.
I just hope he's not soft.
I hope he's not that way as well. But
Come on, it's time to step up.
The confidence for him needs
up
to come back
right now
in a big way. And if it ever happens, hopefully it happens really soon.
The door's open.
It
The
is.
door's open.
It's
for
wide
him.
open.
Absolutely. Now, the other spot that I want to talk about on offense is at wide receiver where, Jalen Marshall, he started out, he lit the world on fire. It seems like he's coming down to earth a little bit. And then Robbie Anderson with a huge game, 5 catches, I believe, over 130 yards, nice touchdown catch. I mean, does he have a realistic shot to make this team? Or is it going to be one or the other, Jalen Marshall or Robbie Anderson? I mean, how's that going to shake out?
I think Robbie has a long shot to make the team because there's just so many other guys that are in front of him. Jalen did actually come down to earth a little bit, a couple of drops here and there, but I think they still have the confidence in him to where from OTAs to now they're comfortable with him being in the lineup. And as I mentioned, first week or two we were actually doing the show. It's a comfortable or a comfort level that a quarterback needs to have with receivers, and Bryce Petty has that comfort level with Robbie Anderson. Fitz has that comfort level with Brandon, Decker, Quincy. You could see he actually has that comfort level with Jalen. And if it ever comes to that point that Robbie Anderson could get to that point where he has that comfort level with Fitz, that could help him out. But there's so many other guys that are still there that are in front of him. And for him, he's just going to have to continue to make plays. I'm not really sure he can crack through that top 6 right at this moment.
Would they ever think about keeping a 7th? That's what we were talking about, where that 4th quarterback, that one position where, that would hurt a guy like Rob Anderson.
It would.
That's going to be.
It actually
right?
would also hurt a guy like
or the
Ross,
linebackers or
some of the linebackers because
yeah.
there's two special team spots that are going to be strictly for one of those guys, and if keep a fourth quarterback, that's taking a spot away from one of those guys. So
And he don't play special teams, right?
No.
Anderson.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
So that hurts him
Yeah,
worse.
that
hurts him a
does.
lot worse.
Ross and Jalen Marshall are the guys that they're looking for as returners. So, they have that working for them. And the linebackers on special teams, as far as kickoff and punt coverage guys, that's big for those guys.
Yeah.
So,
The only scenario where maybe you could see something working out is where, maybe Daryl Morris, he steps up, claims a spot as your sixth corner, and that would allow you to maybe keep an extra wide receiver. But I agree. I think you need one of these guys to really step up there as your return man.
Robbie has a big hill to climb, but there's always that thing where he could be here as a practice squad guy, and then you never know if he's on the practice squad. Injuries happen.
Yeah.
He gets put on the roster.
Yep.
You never know what could happen
for him.
All right, so looking ahead to the Giants Saturday night, what are some things that you guys want to see, or even some matchups that you're looking forward to? I know you got the Giants defensive line. They added Big Snacks. They got Olivier Vernon, so that should be a nice matchup to watch to see where our offensive line is. Odell Beckham and Darrell Revis. I mean, that's going to be the ultimate showdown right there. I mean, what are you looking to see?
I think I'm looking to see the receivers and DBs matchups, and also I'm looking to see the interior matchups. I want to see how the linebackers do with covering, and I want to see how the linebackers do with filling in the gaps. That's basically what I'm going to be trained on for the whole game, because I know pretty much for the first half it's going to be the number ones out there, pretty much for the whole first half. So that matchup with knowing that the Jets need a number 2 and a number 3 corner to step up, and you have OBJ, you have the young kid Shepard, Victor Cruz is supposed to be playing, so that's a formidable task for DBs to cover. And I just want to see. We know Revis is probably going to be on Odell for most of the game. I just want to see if the 2 and 3 guys can actually contend with the other guys the Giants have, and in the interior, the Jets actually have those holes at tackle.
Yep.
And I know the Giants, front four, want to actually try to prove a little something that they can be a formidable front four again. But and the same thing with our front seven. I want to see our front seven go in and actually be in attack mode instead of being in backpedal mode for the first half of this game.
I want to see the defensive line, the offensive line dominate on the line of scrimmage. Now, the defensive line, my personal opinion, I think the Giants' offensive line is the weak link of the Giants. As much as they have all the speed on the outside, you get all these weapons, and I'm a big fan of Eli Manning. I wasn't, but I am now, because he's the silent assassin. But what I want to see happen Saturday night, I want to see Calvin Pryor. I want to see Calvin Pryor lay out OBJ. Come over that middle. Come over the middle. Boom! Hit him. I want to see him hit those little munchkins that they have on the outside, because that's what they are. There's 3 munchkins out there. You got Victor Cruz, if he plays, which we can't stand him as it is, and he knows why with the 99 yards. And now you got Shepard, who is the next coming of, he's going to be the greatest. And OBJ, he is the greatest, so just ask him. So, that's what I want to see. I want to see our defensive backs. I just want to see them get laid out. That's what I want.
I just want to see.
And then I'm going to tell you how I really feel.
I'm just hoping to see the defense really come out fast, physical, crisp, clean game, no penalties, no turnovers. Everybody get out healthy, and I'll be happy.
Healthy.
I just want to make sure that they actually aren't like the first 2 games. They were in backpedal mode the first 2 games, the first 2 drives of both games. So I just want to see them go into attack mode and instead of reacting to what the offense is doing. Force the offense to actually adjust to them. And hopefully this week it was game plan week, and they have some things in store that are not on film, and things that they're going to be using during the season where they can make adjustments from series to series and put guys in position to make some spectacular plays out there this week. That's actually what I'm going to be looking for from the defense.
I did it at my desk.
I did it in the cockpit, circling Atlanta at 30,000 feet.
I did it on the conference room table in front of my boss, who's my mom.
Why draft your fantasy football team at work when you can have an awesome draft party at Hooters? Choose Hooters for your fantasy draft party. Every league gets a draft kit worth up to $200 in freebies. Book now at hooters.com/football.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're coming at you from Hooters in Hackensack, where we had an awesome time watching the Jets take on the Redskins in preseason action. We're going to be joined here right now by Carrie. What's going on? We had an awesome time. Again, the game didn't turn out exactly how we wanted it, but still a fun time here.
It was a fantastic time, and we're going to be doing it all over again for the preseason finale. Thursday, September 1st at 7:30 p.m. We are going to kick Philly's butt.
Awesome. Make sure you wear your green, but make sure it's Jets green, not Eagle green.
And it's got to be Jets green. You got to be in your Jets gear, and you get a special discount from here at Hooters at Hackensack.
Awesome. See you there. We recently had a chance to go behind the scenes at MetLife Stadium, where the New York Jets unveiled some new additions and some delicious food to be unveiled in 2016. At MetLife Stadium with New York Jets team president, correct?
Yes.
Neil Glat. Great event going on here. Tons of great food being rolled out. I've had some bacon on the stick already, some wings. What's your favorite food here?
They're all good. I actually like the works, which is a combination of sausages.
Okay, that's a good one too. I had some of that. I mean, I'm still full right now.
All right, good.
So a lot of new fan things coming out this year as well. Some ideas to get the fans engaged. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're always pushing. Fans have high expectations. We talked about this earlier. We're in New York. So when they come out for game day, we want them to have a great time. So it'll be things that happen in the plaza, it'll be fun things for the kids, so new technology. So I don't know if you had a chance to sample it yet. We have a virtual technology tool, which is great. Put the headsets on, you'll get an immersive experience. You'll see Brandon Marshall right up close, catch a touchdown. You'll be in the tunnel when the players are coming out on the field. There's a lot of great stuff.
Great, awesome. Now, what are your thoughts on this team coming up for 2016?
I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic.
Awesome. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we're a little bit short on time here, so we're only going to take a couple questions today. Our first one comes from Nick's Jets for Life. What is your projected win total for the Jets this season?
Realistically, I really do think the Jets can go 9-7. They get a good break, on the road. Possibly be the same record as last year, 10-6. I'll say this: I got, killed last year with my predictions for the team. And when I said the Jets were going to win 10 games last year, I got killed on Twitter by everyone, and we see what they did. But realistically, this year I do with the way the team actually looks. Even with the schedule, it's probably the toughest schedule that any NFL team has probably had in the last 15, 20 years. I still think they can go at least 9-7.
I think they're going to win like 5 or 6 games. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Do you really believe that? No. We're going to win 10 games. All right? Maybe we're going to win more, but we're going to win 10 games. If we stay healthy, we have to stay healthy. If we do, we're going to win at least 10 games, and we're going to shut everybody up.
Personally,
And this time we're going to get into the dance. And we're going to do some tangoing.
if they stay healthy, like you just said, I don't see any reason why this team should not be right around that 10-11 win mark competing for the division this year.
I'm with you, brother.
Right? And our last question, this one's for you, Fireman Ed. It's from C. Swizzle. When is Fireman Ed going to retake his rightful place as the Jets chant leader at MetLife Stadium? We got the helmet here. We got the jersey. When's it going to happen?
I'm humbled, always humbled. I get that honestly, I get that question quite a bit. My heart will always be there. I'm still there, although I'm not Fireman Ed. But I've always said, never say never. Never say never. My heart's there. So all the haters, all the people that are in the know that, I quit, I wasn't there, that's all nonsense. That's a joke. because I was there the last 2 games after I let the butt fumble, okay? You don't know what went on there, okay? You don't need to know, all right? But I was at that game, and I was like a lost puppy in Arizona and the San Diego games, the last 2, okay? And I've never wavered. Never. I've never wavered. I still love them. I still have the passion, and I could go back there and rock that house right now. I know I can. So take that, haters, okay? Never say never.
There we go.
Never say never.
You heard it from him. Never say never. Stay tuned.
Great show, guys. For myself, Fireman Ed, and Rob Carpenter, we'll see you again next week.